your boy Yaya is back after a long time. We had a long layoff. We did not stream for how many days? God knows how many days. But we're back. We're back with new energy, and we're gonna be streaming every day from now on. And we're gonna be spending 4 hours, 5 hours just on streaming because we got nothing else to do. Ugh. Do. Yay, man. What's going on, dude? I've not seen you in a long time and I haven't streamed in a long time. It's been a while. But we're back. We're going to be streaming every day from now on. And we're also doing the looks maxing thing. We're also maxing the looks. Yeah. There's a lot going on in sports. So where do we actually start from? Because there's a lot. There's a lot of topics that need to get covered. There's a lot of topics that have been waiting for us just to get discussed. So we start with those topics. The first topic is Olivera versus Max Holloway, number 2. That is coming. But what I think is that card does not have a co-main event yet. Olivera versus Max Holloway. Max Holloway. 2. And by the way, I don't know if you have heard about this. Floyd Mayweather is fighting Manny Pacquiao. He's fighting Manny Pacquiao. Okay, so Olivera versus Holloway, 2. And why am I going to the next card? It's quite big. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, second time, the rematch. You know, I actually made a funny video about this as well. Like, no one is actually waiting for that fight. Nobody. This fight, when it happened the first time, was already 5 years late, and now it's like 15 years late. This Floyd is 48, Pacquiao's probably 46. I don't know why those guys are doing it, but I mean, you guys are also watching Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather, so might as well just watch this too. It is happening in Las Vegas in September. So Olivera versus Olivera does not have a co-main event. You got Dead Raider versus Kyle Barao. You got Rosas Jr. versus Ralph Font, which is a decent fight. You got Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson, which is a decent fight. But it doesn't have a co-main event. We gotta find a good, nice co-main event for the card. And we don't have a lot of time, to be honest. This card is on 8th of March. We only got 2 weeks, and we need to find a good co-main event for the card. That's what we gotta do. Which I don't know if they're gonna be able to pull it off, but let's see. But man, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, that's gonna be the fight. You know? I know there's gonna be fans like me who are gonna be tuning in. You know, they're gonna complain about the fight, say that both these guys are old, they're not in their primes anymore, but we're still gonna watch it. It's called freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, freedom of tuning into the TV, freedom of pressing the button, and freedom of just, you know, letting your ego go and watch two men cuddle each other just to punch each other in the face. We're gonna watch it. All right, back to Holloway versus Olivera. Man, the card is not sick, but the fight itself is sick, and I think it's gonna over deliver. That's my perception of the fight. Because for the last 2 fights, for the last 2 cards, we've been very disappointed, right? The first one was Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy. For a fight like that, I mean, kind of over delivered because these guys both actually had like a very, I wouldn't say a close fight, but like a banger of a fight. A lot of damage was taken to the fight. A fan favorite fight. But at the same time, if we're talking about the skill-wise, it was kind of a low skill level fight. And also because it was for the interim title. And Arman Tsarukyan was not in the title picture. And Ilya was a champion. Was also not fighting for the title in that fight. So fans did not appreciate the fight. They actually put it on Paramount. They're like, Paramount is the one that is causing all of this damage. And then you have a second card. Back to back, 2 cards. Second card, you had a main event. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Second fight. Like somebody asked for the fight. Like somebody asked for the rematch. But no one actually did. I don't know. No one actually did ask for the rematch. But it happened. After 8 months of the first one. But the first one was not even close. It was like a 50-45. Or maybe like a 46-49 or whatever. Whatever. It was not a close fight. And then the second one was exactly the same. The results were the same. Diego Lopez did not have enough time to make any adjustments. The fans didn't want the fight. the fighters didn't want the fight, but they had to make the fight because Volkanovski wanted to fight in Australia, and they were going to put a Paramount card in Australia, and Diego Lopez was the only available opponent for that time period. So it happened. So I don't know if Paramount is just going to be looking for like the bangers, or they're going to be doing looking at the legitness of the fight as well. Are the fighters legit? Do the fighters actually deserve it? Like on the next UK card, we're getting Mozart versus Lerone Murphy. That is a fight that needs to happen. I was not in favor of that fight. I wanted both of those guys to get their shot at Volkanovski. This is what I wanted. But if you want to determine the number one opponent, maybe that's a clear-cut way, the way UFC wanted to do it. So I don't mind it. It's fine. The best guy is going to be, at least Volkanovski is going to be able to say that I am fighting the best guy, which he couldn't say the last fight, right? And I think Mozart is going to come out as victorious in that fight. I think it's going to be one of those fights where everybody's going to complain about it. Everybody's going to mourn about it. They're going to say, Dagestani style, the guy is cuddling, he's taking him down, like a bag. He's wearing him like a bag. And then he's getting on top of him like a blanket. And they're having a good night's sleep. And the fans are going to sleep. And Mozart is just on top of him for like 5 rounds. And it's boring. The fans are going to complain. I can already imagine the comment section. I can see the comment section the next day. Everybody typing on their laptops. Boring. Boring. Mozart should be kicked out of UFC. Nobody wants him. Make a deal with one championship. Get somebody from the one championship. We don't need Mozart. Boring style. He doesn't deserve a title fight against Volkanovski. Oh, Mozart only fight once a year. And the fans are going to be like, oh, he doesn't deserve the title fight. But that's what's going to happen. And he's going to get a title fight. And then that would be a hard matchup, actually. Because for both of them, actually. Because even if you look at from Mozart's point of view, he's been able to take everybody down. He's been able to control everybody. But Volkanovski is like the hardest guy to take down and to control. Like Islam Makhachev was having a bit of a problem taking him down and actually controlling him. And Islam is a 155-pounder guy. But he was having a hard time against Volkanovski. So now you're going to have Volkanovski versus Mozart. And Mozart is like a smaller guy, smaller version of Islam Makhachev. So yeah, you could sell the fight. Volkanovski be like, oh, your bigger brother couldn't take me down. He had a problem. You think you're going to take me down? I'm going to be able to defend the takedowns. And Craig Jones is going to join the camp. And he's going to be like, oh, Craig Jones is the Dagestani, a kryptonite, the anti-Dagestani guy. He's going to be in the corner. Craig Jones is going to be giving advices. Oh, octopus guard. When he takes it down, do the octopus guard. And everybody is going to be UFC selling the fight. Look, Craig Jones, the anti-Dagestani guy. Yo, there's no way Mozart is controlling him. This is the whole narrative. We're going into the fight, and Volkanovski is probably a favorite in the fight. It's going to be like, fans are going to be making little videos of analysis video. They're going to be like, so I can predict the fight. The way this fight is going to go, is Mozart's going to be shooting for the takedown. But did you see the first fight? Dude, Volkanovski's, his defense was so good against Islam Makhachev. Dude is going to be able to defend all the takedown. Dude, there's no way Mozart is controlling him. Have you seen him with Craig Jones, by the way? Craig Jones is there. He's the anti-Dagestani guy. He does that all the time. He does it all the time. They wouldn't even remember the Islam fight. They was like, he does it all the time. Look at his record, nah. All the guys that he prepares. He knows, dude, octopus guard. I watched like a 1 minute short on octopus guard, dude. He knows how to do it. And then the fight is going to go, and Mozart, because he's a little bit shorter guy than Islam Makhachev, he's going to get to the legs easier. And Volkanovski is probably already over the hill. He's already like 37 years old. By the time fight happens, he's going to be 38 years old. He's probably not going to be in the best shape of his life, to be honest. And Mozart might be able to take him down. He might be able to cuddle him. He might be able to get on top of him like a blanket. And then they both are going to sleep. And all the fans are going to sleep. And the fight goes for like 5 rounds. And then the ref is like, Mozart, 50-45, maybe 49-46. And then the fans on the YouTube, Volkanovski is not in his prime. I told you, he's 38 years old. He's lost his prime. Yeah, he's not the same guy. No, Mozart ain't actually that good. He ain't actually that good. And be like, boring again. Boring. He's boring. He could have stood up and strike. He could have tried to do it, but he didn't because he's boring. This is the only way he could win. He can't strike. He doesn't know how to throw a punch. He was going for those legs. He was shooting for those legs. That's going to be it. This is what people are going to be talking about, you know. And I can see the future happen. That is a possibility. That is a possibility. Are you one of those guys, by the way? Are you going to say that Mozart is going to shoot for the takedowns? Volk defends every single takedowns. Craig Jones in the corner, like shooting his advices about like octopus guard and stuff. I mean, to be honest, I can see Volk smashing Mozart. I'm just, painting a scenario. That can happen. That can happen, by the way. Because Volk is also a bad matchup for Mozart. Like, Mozart likes to control the people and he likes to take people down. But Volk is also one of those guys who's one of the best anti-wrestlers. So he can probably defend all of the takedowns. And then it might turn out to be a fight on the feet. And then when it's a fight on the feet, then you don't know because Mozart's never been he's never exchanged a lot of shots on the feet. I'm picturing the first Islam fight with a clear. Oh, yes, that fight was close. But let me tell you something. Let me spoil something for you. The first Islam fight was in Australia. And in Australia, you don't get the whole time to actually regain the weight. So Islam was actually dehydrated during the fight because you only got like 24 hours or something like that to actually rehydrate back. He couldn't get all the rehydration back. So that was one of the problems. And that's why he was getting tired as well. Second of all, Islam was a taller guy, right? And Volk is pretty small for the weight class. So Islam was having a problem to actually shoot for the takedown and be able to get the legs. But Mozart, unlike Islam, is a 145er. He's been fighting at that weight for a long, long time. And he's used to actually the speed of the 145ers. And he's pretty good at like low level takedowns. That's what he's been able to do. So I think it's going to be successful. If you're asking for my prediction, I think Mozart is going to be able to take him down and then control him for a longer period of time. That's my personal opinion. And by the way, Mozart does not get tired. His cardio is unbelievable. The guy is doing 2,000 push-ups, I think, or like 1,500 push-ups or something like this in 1 hour. That's what he does. Like, he lives and breathes push-ups. I don't even know if he trains. He just does push-ups. The fight was at 155. That is true. This fight is going to be 145, so maybe Mozart might not be able to control him. Strength comparison to Islam, right? If you're doing the strength comparison to Islam is definitely a stronger guy. Yeah, so we'll find out what happens, to be honest. And Mozart is not as polished of a striker as Islam Makhachev was. But one thing Mozart has got is got a good footwork, and he's very quick and moving around, and he doesn't get tired. Watch his fight against Diego Lopez. He was able to evade all of the punches. Is he a better striker than Diego Lopez? Probably not. They probably have like very close striking when it comes to the striking technique, actually. But Mozart has faster footwork, and he was able to move around for 3 rounds. He was able to do that. But he also wrestled a lot in that fight. But let's see if he can actually wrestle with Volkanovski. We'll find out. But the thing that we need, the most important thing is we want Mozart to be 100%. We want him to not get injured and actually have a quick turnover after the fight with Lerone Murphy. If he actually manages to win the fight, first of all, we want him to make it to the fight, right? There's a lot of criticism of Mozart. How many fights has this guy had? This guy's only had 9 fights since starting the UFC. And how long has he been in the UFC for? A long, long period of time. There was a time when Mozart came to the UFC and he was telling me, I don't eat sugar. Because people were asking about the body. They'd be like, oh, bro, what are you doing? Like, are you taking steroids or what's going on with your... There's muscles are popping out. Give us like a diet plan. And he was like, I didn't have sugar for like last 3 or 4 years, something like that. It was something crazy, man. Bro, can't you, like, no sugar for like 3 to 4 years? Couldn't you have like a chocolate or something? Couldn't you get something, like a little lollipop or something? But apparently he doesn't. He hasn't had anything like that for a long period of time. And that was his secret. So his secret juice was basically not having sugar. That's what he was doing. So his cardio is actually pretty good. But then what happened is that he stopped having any fights. He started getting injured. After every fight, he was getting injured. And now he hasn't fought for like 2 years. Exactly. Somebody needs to tell him. Yeah. He should be eating refined foods. You know, there's sugar in every food, to be honest. There's sugar in pizza, by the way. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like when I found out last time, it was like a year ago. Somebody told me you're eating sugar right now because you're eating pizza. I was like, it's not sugar. Pizza is spicy. It's salty. Where's the sugar in the pizza? But there is. By the way, any thoughts? Any thoughts on Max Holloway versus Charles Olivera? I think this is gonna over deliver. This Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway. People are saying they don't have like an actual title fight on the card, but you got Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway, two of the biggest stars in 155, except Arman Sarikian and Ilya Topuria. And these guys, they know how to put on a show. There's sugar in fruit juice. Yeah, there is definitely sugar in fruit juice. Fruits have a lot of sugar. That's why if you are having excess of fruit eating, even that's not good. Like doctors will tell you, bro, fruits are good. Just go eat fruits. You know what? Yeah, you can't be going ham on the fruits. Like there was a time, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was eating 7 bananas for lunch. And I'm not talking about the small bananas. I'm talking about the big ones. I'm talking about like this big bananas. That's what I was doing. And then I realized I was like, this is not helping me out. So I had to read about it. There's a lot of potassium. Do I smoke? Do I look like I smoke? No, I actually don't. I used to smoke like shisha and stuff, a little bit of it, but I don't smoke anymore. I'm free, man. I don't get drunk. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff. My lifestyle is like straight edge. Cigarettes. I used to do a little bit. I did a bit of it, but I don't. I'm not like a chain smoker, and I'm not addicted to smoking. I only smoke when I'm doing like the social smoking, and that's pretty rare. It's only when I'm hanging out with my friends. That's only when I smoke. Other than that, I don't smoke. And shisha is the same. I don't. I had a bit of a kidney thing as well, by the way. I had like a bit of a nephrotic syndrome, which is when your kidneys actually stop storing the protein in the body. So I had it like a few years ago. I've kind of fully recovered now, but it's one of those diseases that can always come back. It can always relapse. So I'm trying to take care of myself. So ever since I had it, I would only smoke probably like once in like 3 months or something like that. You make silk? I don't even know what that means. You make silk or sick? I don't know. Kyle Renner. And by the way, guys, this is the second fight on the card, but it's not even the co-main event. Like I don't. Somebody was telling me this is not the co-main event. They need to find a co-main event for the card. Kyle or Dorita? What do you guys think? I am gonna go with Kyle. I'm gonna go. You know why I'm gonna go with Kyle? Although we know that when RDR actually came, he was like a hot prospect. Even though he's not like super young, but he was like one of those guys who people thought like he might be a tough matchup for Hamza Chimaev because of his elite jiu-jitsu. And he was able to finish guys like he beat Robert Whittaker and didn't finish him. But yeah, he finished Bo Nickel. So everybody was like, oh, he might be the guy because he was able to stuff the takedowns from like Bo Nickel as well. They're pretty good even in grappling. But I just don't think he's going to be able to compete with Kyle Barrio. Do you know why? Because the styles are very, Kyle Barrio's style is very bad for RDR. Like RDR is a good grappler, right? But he's more like a bottom grappler. He does top grappling as well. Like his top grappling is actually good. But is he going to be able to take Kyle down? It's not going to be the same match. Kyle is going to try to stay away from him. Kyle has a solid takedown defense, by the way. And Kyle is also decent on the ground. So even if RDR does get the top control, I don't think it's going to be good enough to actually finish him. And you saw RDR striking. It's not polished. Like he's successful with the striking. He's able to land the punches. But it's because those people are trying to fight him in the clinch. Don't fight him in the clinch with RDR because that's what he does. Like he's more like a clinch sort of fighter. He does the knees in the clinch. You throw like an elbow occasionally, but mostly like knees in the clinch. And he's got a strong clinch. But with Kyle Bry, he's an outside fighter. He's not even going to try to come in. He's going to read RDR like a book. He's going to be outside. RDR's footwork is pretty slow. Kyle's faster. Kyle's going to throw the leg kicks. And you will see Kyle winning. He could get a knockout because he also has power in his left hand. I could see him landing some shots and dropping and then going for the TKO. But from outside, he can easily win the fight. I don't even know if it's like a 5 round or third 3 rounds. If it's 5 rounds, Kyle finishes him because Audio also gasses out. We've seen him. If it's 3 rounder, I can still see a finish, but most probably a unanimous decision. Silk like milk, slang for book. I'm learning something new. Social media is a good learning curve for me every single day. I think I'm progressing in life. Silk like milk, slang for bilk. You know, my man is a rapper. All right, so now we're going through the card, guys. We've gone through the card. We have established the fact that Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway is going to be a banger of a fight. Now I have to give my prediction for the fight. Look, I don't think Max Holloway has fought a grappler like Charles Oliveira before. I don't think this happened ever. There was a time when he was close to fighting a grappler like Khabib. That's when he could have gone down, and it would have been bad for him. But other than that, he got submitted by Dustin Poirier very early in his career. And you could say that he was 21 years old. Maybe he didn't know jiu-jitsu. Maybe he just started MMA. He didn't know what jiu-jitsu was. He took like a couple of wrestling classes. He took like a couple of kickboxing classes. And then he found out, oh shit, there's jiu-jitsu. What is that? That could be an argument because that was pretty early in his career. But now I think he knows jiu-jitsu. Now I think he knows every aspect of MMA. I think it's going to be very hard for Charles to actually take him. Like, I know Charles is strong. He's got strong wrestling. He's not just a grappler. Dude, nah, but it's the opposite. Look, I'm looking at it from a different point of view. Like, you're saying Max has CTE? 100%. It's not even a debate, Max has CTE. Watch him talk. He's definitely, and he's taken a lot of damage. Look, Max is one of those guys who's not even worried about getting punched in the face. He's like, punch me. It's fine. I'm going to break your hands with my face. But here's the thing. Max Holloway still got a chin. Like, he can take the shots. He's taken the shots and he's still been able to not get knocked out. Just one time against Ilia Topuria. But other than that, he's been able to take the shots and not even get dropped. But Charles Oliveira, he's been dropped so many times. Like, you could have the same argument about Charles Oliveira. He takes the same amount of damage. He gets hurt in every single fight. He doesn't have a good chin, right? Charles never had like a great chin, but after getting dropped that many times, who hasn't dropped Charles Oliveira, by the way? Who has not dropped Charles Oliveira? Justin Gaethje, boom, dropped him. Didn't go to the ground, didn't want to finish him, all right? Dustin Poirier dropped him, didn't want to go to the ground. Actually made a mistake one time going to the ground. Michael Chandler dropped him twice because he fought him twice and then he dropped him twice. So anytime Charles Oliveira is in a fight, whether it's like a 3-round fight or a 5-round fight, he gets dropped. Islam Makhachev dropped him. So he's been dropped many, many times. And it's because Charles Oliveira has a kind of style, which is constant movement, and he's just going to move straight. He doesn't even, so like, they're fighters, right? They're fighters that boom, boom, boom. Take a step side, diagonally, do something. Charles is like, he's straight. He's just going to come. Like, he's got this one, right? He fights like a Muay Thai guy, but it's one of the, that's why, first of all, that's why they say Muay Thai is probably not even the best style for MMA, because Muay Thai is pretty like static sort of style, right? Like, if you watch guys like Rotang, they're taking the leg kicks. They don't give a fuck, dude. Their shins are the strongest. Like, Muay Thai guys can take, they can take shots. They can take the leg kicks. Their legs are like, they're like missiles. Their legs are like missiles. Nothing fades them. But they're able to move forward. That's what they can do. But in MMA, it's difficult because it makes you susceptible for the takedowns and stuff, right? And also at the same time, you can run into shots. MMA gloves are smaller, so your hand speed is faster. And you can't block the punches like Muay Thai guys, right? Muay Thai guys can go straight, but they can cover their head. Charles can't do that in MMA. It doesn't work in MMA. So that's why I think Max is going to catch him. I think they both are going to catch each other, by the way. I think Charles is going to catch him. Charles probably hits a bit harder than Max, because he's used to fighting at 155 and he throws like a lot of power in every shot, where Max is more like an output guy. But I think Max is going to catch him more times, and Max has the chin to actually take a shot. Charles is not like a one shot, like he hits hard, is straight is hard actually, but it's not a one shot. It's not like Ilya hard, right? He's not going to be able to drop Max, and Max is going to put the output on him. And Charles hasn't seen output like Max. He's not. And he's not a defensive fighter. He's not going to be, and Max is faster than him. Max is going to be out of the way. You know, I'm saying like Max doesn't mind taking a shot, but Max is actually fast. And Max is actually pretty smart with his footwork as well. Like, watch his fight versus Ilya. What happened in the fight? He got knocked out. But that's not the argument I'm making. Before he got knocked out, he was actually moving around very well. So he got knocked out in the third round, but in the first 2 rounds, he did pretty good. Like first round, you can have an argument. He actually won. No, maybe he didn't win the round because Ilya was able to take him down at the end of the round, but he did pretty decent. He did pretty decent. And for one of the rounds, you can have an argument that he probably won the round. But the rounds were close. The point I'm trying to make is he was also catching Ilya with a left hook. He was hitting him repeatedly. And then he was also playing the long cross, which he was able to land some of the time. He's going to be able to do that with Olivera. He's going to fight smart. He's not going to be one of those stupid guys who's going to say, all right, we're going for the train wreck. Let the bodies bang, you know? He's not going to do that. He's going to play smart. He's going to land some of the shots. And it's going to be a TKO. It's going to be a TKO. I can see Charles getting a takedown and then submitting. I don't know what Max jiu-jitsu level is right now. I just have no idea. I know Max takedown defense is decent, but I don't know what his jiu-jitsu level is like. So if Charles actually takes him down, can he just submit him like quick? I don't know about that because Charles is like the GOAT when it comes to the UFC submissions. Like I've never seen a submission artist as good as Charles Oliveira. You guys can agree to that, right? Like if you're just talking like purely submissions, there's nobody like him. There's nobody jumping. There's nobody doing the triangles like that. There's nobody doing the arm bars and like the guillotines are the best. You know, Dustin Poirier loves jumping the gilly, but Charles is a guy who actually is successful. I agree with this assessment that no one is beating Ilya except Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan is a man. I think Arman can beat Ilya. Ilya is a hard matchup for Arman just because of the fact that Ilya comes from Georgia, the land of the wrestlers. That Ilya is the best boxer in the UFC. That makes it very difficult for Arman Tsarukyan. But I feel like if he keeps on taking the same pizza diet, that if he keeps on having those, staying on that diet plan that he's stuffing every day, I think he can beat Ilya with that. You just got to be on it. I like the activity. I think it's just sometimes you just need some sort of motivation. And his motivation is he's competing. He's like, this Saturday he's going to be fighting Giorgio Pulis, wrestling match. What was he doing a few weeks before? Wrestling. Lance Palmer. Beat him. What was he doing before that? Jiu-Jitsu, shot a bullet. What was he doing before that? He's having constant matches. Dan Hooker. All right, I'm going to be on something. So he's got a motivation. He's always got a motivation to train. He's got something booked. He's always got like short-term goals that he's going to be looking forward to. Something. He's keeping himself busy. There's not a time when he's not doing anything. He's either in the camp, he's training, or he's on the table, he's eating. He's doing something always. So there's always some sort of motivation. You know, like in the old times, we used to hunt to get food. He's literally hunting to get food. He gets in a camp, he trains for 3 weeks. He's like, oh, I'm going to train, wrestle. I'm going to do MMA. And then after he's done with the competition, after he gets a win, he's like, oh, I got the food. Now I can eat for 2 weeks. And then every day you see videos of him sitting with Andrew Tate, I'm eating. Sitting with Jake Paul, eating. He does that. And once he's done with it, then he goes back to the camp again. And he goes back to earning that food. So it's a very primitive lifestyle, actually, if you look at it from that perspective. Okay, Drew Dober is fighting Michael Johnson. We need to analyze this fight too, man. Drew Dober versus Michael Jackson. Michael Johnson. Who asked for this fight? Look, Michael Johnson, he's an unpredictable. Like Michael Johnson is one of those guys, man. Michael Johnson is actually one of those guys who can win on any day, any given day. He can beat any opponents on any given day. Look at the record of this guy. This guy has beaten Tony. If I tell you, by the way, some of you might not even heard the name of Michael Johnson, but if I tell you that Michael Johnson is the guy who's beaten Dustin Poirier, cold knockout, dropped him. Michael Johnson is also the guy who's beaten Tony Ferguson. I mean, given that Tony's arm was actually compromised, he broke his arm during the fight, but he still beat him. It was unanimous decision, but he still beat him. Counts as a win, officially a win. So Michael Johnson is one of those guys. He's got some other good wins as well, by the way. He was almost going to beat Justin Gaethje in the first fight. But he's also the guy who loses to like unranked guys. There's no consistency. With Michael Johnson, you can get anything. I think it's because he doesn't fight with a very high IQ level, and also he's not technically very efficient. He's got one of the fastest hands, and because he's so fast, he's also explosive, and that's why he's been able to finish some of the people that you don't expect him to. But with Drew Dober, he hits hard. He's like one of those guys who hits power, who doesn't have the same one shot knockout power as Michael Johnson, but he's got power in all the shots that he throws. And he's a bit younger, I would say. He's a bit more consistent. So I'm going to pick Drew Dober in this fight. Yeah, it's crazy with Michael Johnson. It's crazy. But I got Drew Dober with that one. I'm gonna go for him. By the way, guys, I don't like the card. I don't know why they haven't been able to put good cards. You know what they're doing? They're saving the fights for the White House card. And now there's news. Now there's news that Alex Pereira might actually be fighting Cyril Gahn on the White House card for the interim championship. Wish they were gonna do it on the card before. That's what they were planning. But it seems like they want to put it on the White House card. And by the way, let me drop something on you. You know, they wanted to have Elliot Poirier versus Justin Gaethje as the main event of the White House card. That was a plan, initial plan. All the news were coming out saying that. Now they're saying they might not even have that fight on the White House card. Do you want to know why? Because what is the nationality of Elliot Poirier? He is a Georgian Spanish. And what is the outcome? What is the outcome of the match looking like? Like, if you have to predict the outcome right now of Elliot Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, what do you think would happen? Everyone is like KO, first round, maybe first round KO, most probably first round KO. If not first, maybe second round KO, right? A flush KO. Because Justin is going to be reckless. He's going to come into Ilya's shot. Ilya is so good at boxing. He's going to duck one of the shots, maybe left hook, and then a cross. And Dustin is down, and everyone's like, it's going to be sad. Ilya does that to your favorite fighters all the time. But do you want that to happen in front of Donald Trump? When you have the president of the United States of America sitting down, watching the fights with an American flag. You got the whole Senate there. You got Thomas Massey. You got everybody who was an Epstein Island, basically. You got the whole Epstein cabinet over there. Do you think they want to watch the American fighter getting knocked out? And I love Justin Gaethje. You know, he's my favorite fighter, man. He's like one of my, to be honest, Justin style. He's the best. He's the best when it comes to stylistically. Like, he cannot disappoint, but this is the outcome we see. Like, that's most probably going to happen. Like, Ilya's going to knock him out. On the White House, Donald Trump watching the fight, that's not a good visuals. That's why they're thinking of taking him off the card. So taking that fight off the card and doing something else maybe. Whatever. We'll see what happens. Anyway, then what fight are they left with? Because now you don't want Ilya to fight on the White House card. We're already saying that Pereira is not fighting on the White House card, which he might be now, because he might be fighting Cyril Gahn. But that's two un-American fighters. Brazilian versus a French guy. Do you want that to happen? You don't want Islam Makhachev on the card. We know they're targeting Islam versus Gary on the card after. And also Khabib doesn't want Islam to fight on the White House card after the Epstein thing came out. Whatever, right? Who else is going to fight? Merab. I mean, Merab is American now. He's got the American nationality. Maybe have him on the card. Merab versus Peter Yan, if you can make that happen. But even then, it's like a Russian fighter versus an American fighter who's also like a part Russian fighter. And then Russian fighter is also favored to win that fight. Do you want to... Yeah, you know what? Do you want to play that game? So, you know, all the hype of the White House card. Like last year we were talking about White House, 80,000 people, Washington, D.C., Donald Trump, he's like opening it, right? That were the visuals, like, oh, the UFC plans, the fireworks, White House card, and Donald Trump is standing at the door. And he put the wheels out. And it's like, oh, all the fireworks are going on. The White House car starts. And then there's 70,000 people making noise. You know, that is happening, that visual. And there's security all around. There's like planes, USA planes going there. There's like a submarine right outside. The fighters are making entrances of the tanks. Justin Gaethje is coming on a tank. This kind of visual, right? Those kind of things are happening. Maybe somebody's making an entrance through like a private jet. There's like John Jones is coming on a private jet. Ooh, he's landing right in the octagon. Shit. That shit, we were thinking like something big was going to happen. But now, It seems like there's not even going to be 80,000 people. There's going to be 5,000 people. That's what they're saying. So it's just going to be like what is the card, man? I forgot the location. But it's like, just going to be one of those cards where like nobody's watching. There's one dude sitting on the chair and he's licking his ice cream. There's one girl who doesn't have any idea about the UFC. She just came with her boyfriend and she's going to be, yeah, go. She doesn't even know anything about fighting. She doesn't know what UFC is. She doesn't know what MMA is. She's just going to be watching the fight. She doesn't even know who the American fighter is. She's going to have the USA flag. There's going to be a kid with like Donald Trump hat. There's going to be a Make America Great Again. It's just going to be happening. I don't see White House card happening, to be honest. Even if it happens, I don't think it's going to be the best. 5,000 people, what are you going to do with that? And fighters. Like, who's going to be fighting on the White House card? We don't even have fights. Like he said, there's going to be 6 championship fights. And I was like, we don't even know if we're going to have 6 total fights. Actually, this is also a conversation that we might just have like 6 total fights. So 6 total fights. And 3 of those fights would be like washed up fighters. I don't even know if Conor is going to be fighting. You know, he posted something about fighting, but then he pulled out because his contract is different. And he might not even get paid the same because, you know, most of the money that Conor was actually making was like the pay-per-view money. And UFC was so happy about it because Conor was actually getting you the pay-per-views. And then UFC was making more money so they could pay Conor more. Now there's no pay-per-view money. Paramount is like literally like 6 pounds, 7, 8 pounds, whatever, right? But it's like monthly. It's not affected by the pay-per-view. So it doesn't matter how much pay-per-view you're selling. It wouldn't affect the rate. So McGregor is getting a new contract. He's looking to get a new contract, but I think he's kind of struggling. Like he's in between the deals, and maybe UFC doesn't see a lot of profit in him. So before that, Conor was like the big dog, right? He's like, let's do a contract, pay me like $200 million. It's not the same anymore. It's like UFC doesn't need him that much. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So if Conor is not fighting on the main card, he's not fighting on like the White House card, then what are you left with? George St. Pierre, GSP is coming back. You have GSP on the card, all right. GSP will fight somebody. Who else do you have on the card? Nate Diaz, he wants to fight. Jorge Masvidal wants to fight. Nick Diaz wants to fight. Dustin Poirier. But these are all guys that are washed up. And I'm sorry to say that. Like, Nick Diaz, man, one of my Nick Diaz is one of those guys that I was watching in like 2012, 2013. I didn't even know much about fighting, to be honest. Like, at that time, I was watching UFC, but I hadn't done any martial arts, so I didn't know much. But I was a fan of Nick Diaz, just like the visuals of Nick Diaz, you know, like never stopping that style. He was the one who brought it. Nate is someone who actually copied from he got it from Nick, right? I'm not gonna say copy because they were brothers, but Nick was the first one. He was the first one to actually put the pace on people. The triathlon athlete who's not worried about getting the punishment, who is well all around. He's good on the feet, he's good on the ground, and he's constantly just coming. Doesn't matter. He could be on top, he could be at bottom. He's constantly coming. But so I'm a fan of Nick Diaz. I want him to fight, but to be honest, guys, the guy hasn't fought in like 10 years. The guy was banned for smoking weed for 5 years. Dana White destroyed his career. And then you have Nate Diaz, who's also like washed up. Jorge Masvidal, man, one of the most amazing guys, one of the fun guys, but he's kind of retired, right? He's not fought in a long time. Dustin Poirier again. Dustin Poirier is probably the best out of all of those, like right now, because he just fought like a year ago when he retired. So he's probably a bit fresh, and he had a good fight with Islam Makhachev. So, but, you know, by the looks of it, the White House card doesn't look so promising. Dude, Nick, I am not sure. There's training footage of him, so he might be coming back, but everyone else wants to fight on the card. Jorge Masvidal has even started the camp. He doesn't have an opponent. He's like, I'm just going to train. He's going there. He's cycling. He's hitting the pads. He's doing all of that stuff. Dustin Poirier started the camp. He uploaded a video of the training camp. So he's definitely going to be in the card. Colby Covington. He's going to be... Oh, Colby. You have to put Colby, right? Colby, Make America Great Again. Donald Trump's favorite fighter. You know, he gets a call from Donald Trump after the match. So Colby is definitely going to be in the card. You have to put him in the card. You know what? Because Michael Chandler's are always talking about like America, I think they're going to put Michael Chandler on the card as well, but they might put him against... You know why they don't want to do Conor versus Chandler? They want to make a name... they've done it before. I don't know. There's so much bad blood between them. I don't even know if they want to do that fight, right? I think they want both of those fighters to win. They could do that. They could do that, but I think they might be going for a different one. They might be going for Jorge versus Diaz or like something like that. Colby versus then somebody else. They could do Colby versus Dustin. They hate each other. They never got to have that fight, but I think they will both would accept that. At this point, I think Dustin is the favorite to win it. Before Colby would ragdoll him, I think through wrestling, but now I think at this point, I think Dustin would beat him. Colby looked very bad in his last two fights, and Dustin looked very good against Islam. If Dustin could survive the submissions from Islam, and if he could defend most of the takedowns from Islam, he's definitely going to be able to do that to Colby. Colby's not as good of a wrestler right now as like Islam Makhachev. So that is what I'm looking at. But with Connor, dude, you know why they're not giving him the fight against Michael Chandler? Because Michael Chandler is American and Connor is Irish, and also, so UFC doesn't get anything out of it. Like if Connor knocks him out, that's like an American fighter losing, and Michael Chandler is going to come with an American flag, I know. And then if Chandler actually knocks him out, then UFC kind of loses again because Connor loses. But it's a winnable fight for Connor. You know what they want to do? They want to build a star if with Connor's name. I think that's what they're looking at. So they might do Connor versus, like, I told you the news about Carlos Pradas. Like they were looking at Pradas versus Connor. Like they could build a star out of Conor McGregor's name. That would be a new star because it feels like they probably don't know Conor McGregor much. They don't need him that much anymore. What else was I gonna say, man? Yeah, Michael Chandler. They could build up a fight. With the foreign guy, but a guy that is like with who Michael Chandler can actually win. A winnable fight for Michael Chandler. I think they're going to be looking for that because Chandler is known for being an American guy, right? Coming with an American flag. So I think they're going to be looking at that. They're also looking at Bo Nickel, by the way. They will. Oh, dude, they might be doing Colby versus Bo Nickel, by the way. There was a talk about the Colby versus Bo Nickel. They might be. They might do that in RAF actually, but RAF would be very it would be very unfair because look, Bo Nickel is bigger than Colby Covington. First of all, Colby never fought at 185, so Bo Nickel is an actual 145, 185er. Second of all, Bo Nickel has got more accolades in wrestling, right? So it favors Bo Nickel already, and then the third thing actually is Bo Nickel is actually much younger than Colby. He's actually currently fighting. Well, whereas Colby retired, kind of not retired, but like washed up. He hasn't fought much in like last 3-4 years, 5 years actually. Okay, so that's what's going on. You know what? I am probably gonna get off the stream right now. I will get off the stream. But if you want to ask me any, I'd be shooting content like very regular. I'd be shooting content frequently. Like it's my hobby. I live and die for this. This is my, like YouTube is my life, and it's the life for those people who are like unemployed, who got nothing else to do, and I like fit in that category fully. I fully fit in that category. I got nothing going on in life, and I love it. So I'll see you guys next time, guys. Please, if you join my live, please make sure to like it, and also if you could comment on the live, that would be great. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that would mean something to me. Actually, I would love that. Please remember me in your prayers. Please.